All right, guys. Tomorrow is your 11.1 to 11.5 test. There's no reason to stress about it. It's going to be extremely straightforward. Very, very similar to the quiz, the 11.1 to 11.3 quiz. Oh, excuse me. Just the little extra bit will be the Kramer'S Rule part, which we'll talk about here in a second at the end. But let's just refresh over our matrix operations with scalar multiplication, multiplying matrices, and then adding and subtracting them. So if we look at something like number one is asking you to multiply 3 into the A matrix and then multiply -5 into the B matrix and then combine the two. So remember, when you're adding and subtracting, the dimensions have to be the same. So let's make sure that we can even perform this operation. So I have 3 times, your A is 4, 7, -1, 3. And then I have -5 into B. B is -4, excuse me, 8, 6, and -3. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute. So I'm going to distribute the 3 into the whole first matrix. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times -1, -3. 3 times 7 is 21. And 3 times 3 is 9. Now, I'm going to change this middle sign to a plus, and I'm going to distribute a -5 into the second matrix. So -5 times -4 is 20. -5 times 6 is -30. -5 times 8 is -40. And then -5 and -3 is +15. So now I look and say, can I combine these two? And I can, because this matrix is a 2 by 2, and this one is a 2 by 2. And when you're adding and subtracting, the matrix dimensions have to be the same. So now we just add the corresponding parts. So 12 plus 20 gives me 32. 21 plus a -40 is going to give me -19. -3 plus a -30 is going to give me -33. And then 9 plus 15 is going to give me 24. So then this would be your answer right here. So now moving on, we're going to look at number 2, and it says C minus B. So I have my C matrix, which is -5, 6, 4, 7, -4, 9, minus your B, which is -4, 8, 6, and -3. Now, we are adding or subtracting. So first, before we do this, we have to check our dimensions. So my first dimensions, excuse me, is a 3 row by 2 column. My second is a 2 by 2. Since we are adding or subtracting and the dimensions are not the same, your answer here would be impossible, or you couldn't do it, or for whatever reason, you would tell me it's impossible, and you would show me here because the dimensions aren't the same. So now we're going to come down here to number 3, and it says 2/3 times B. Well, all that's asking you to do is take 2/3 and distribute it into the B matrix. So -4, 8, 6, -3, -4, 8, 6, and -3. And if I distribute, I have 2 times -4 is going to give me -8 over 3, which does not simplify, so we'll just leave it. Then I have 2/3 times 8, so 2 times 8 is 16 over 3, again doesn't simplify. Then I have 2 times 6 is 12 divided by 3, which simplifies to just 4. And then I have 2 times -3 is -6 divided by 3 is going to simplify to -2. Remember, guys, always simplify. All right, now we look at number 4. Number 4 says to multiply. Some of you on your quiz, you didn't pay attention to order. Order is very important in matrix multiplication. Whichever letter comes first is the matrix that you have to write first. So this is C. So my C matrix is -5, 6, 4, 7, -4, 9. So 7, -4, 9 times your A matrix, which is 4, 7, -1, 3. So 4, 7, -1, 3. Now before we can multiply, we have to look at the dimensions. This is a 3 by 2. This one is a 2 by 2. With adding and subtracting, if the dimensions are the same, you can add or subtract. In the case of multiplication, you're not looking for same. You're not looking for same dimensions. You're looking for the inside dimensions to be the same. If they are, then you know that you can multiply, and your outside is going to give you the dimensions of your answer. So my answer is going to be a 3-row by 2-column situation. So now I know exactly what my answer is going to look like. So let we do that. I'm going to find this first position right here. So in order to find that, I would have to take the first row and the first column. So negative 5 times 4 is negative 20, plus 7 times 7 is 49. So negative 20 plus 49 is 29. So now I want this piece right here. That's first row, second column. So I'm going to take negative 5 times negative 1, which is 5, plus 7 times 3, which is 21, and that gives me 26. Now I want this piece right here. So that's going to be second row, first column. So second row is 6 times 4 is 24, plus negative 4 times 7 is negative 28. That's going to give me negative 4. And this piece right here is second row, second column. So 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Plus negative 4 and 3 is negative 12. That's going to give me negative 18. And lastly, I'm going to find third row, first column. So 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 9 times 6 is 63. So that gives me 79. Now I'm going to find that piece there. It's going to be third row, second column. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Plus 9 times 3 is 27. And that is going to give me 23. And there's your answer. So again here, number 5 is asking us to multiply. Again, order matters. So I'm going to say B. So negative 4, 8, 6, negative 3. So negative 4, 8, 6, negative 3. Times my C, which is negative 5, 6, 4, negative 5, 6, 4, 7, negative 4, 9, 7, negative 4, 9. So let's check our dimensions. My first matrix is a 2 by 2. My second is a 3 by 2. So I look at the inside. These two are not the same, so this answer here would be impossible. You cannot combine these. Impossible, because the inside dimensions aren't the same. So when you're adding and subtracting, both dimensions have to be the same. When you are multiplying, the insides have to be the same. So moving along to number 6, if we're going to find the inverse, we have to first find our determinant. So this is my A, B, C, and D. We need to multiply A times D minus B times C. So A times D is going to be 9 times negative 6 minus negative 8 times 7. So this is going to be negative 54 minus a negative 56. When you minus a negative, that becomes plus, so my answer here is 2. Now what I do with that 2 is that becomes the denominator of my fraction. And then to find the inverse, you take your original and you switch the places of the major diagonal, so negative 6 and 9 switch spots. Then you negate the minor, meaning you change the sign. So positive 7 becomes negative and negative 8 becomes positive. And now we just distribute. So negative 6 divided by 2 is going to give me a negative 3. Negative 7 divided by 2 is just negative 7 over 2. 8 divided by 2 is going to give me 4. And then 9 over 2 is just going to give me 9 over 2. And there's the inverse. So you find the determinant first, make that the denominator of your fraction, and then distribute. And again, if this number down here ended up being a 0, then your answer would be no inverse. So let's look at this one. Again, A times D, so 8 times negative 4 minus negative 11 times negative 5. So negative 32 minus 55. Well, you're going to add these two together. It's going to give me, a negative 87. So we're like, oh, can you get a number like that? Yeah, absolutely, no worries. So that becomes my denominator. So I have negative 87, 1 over negative 87. And then to set up your inverse, you switch the places of the major. So negative 4 comes up here, 8 comes down here. And you negate the signs of the minor. So negative 11 becomes positive, and negative 5 becomes positive. And then we distribute. So negative divided by negative is going to give me 4 over 87. That's not going to simplify. And then I have negative 11 over 87. Again, doesn't simplify. Then I have 5 over negative 87. Does not simplify. And then I have negative 8 over 87. And again, does not simplify. So there's your inverse. All right, this next question is kind of a 3-in-1. You're going to be given a system of equations, and in a matrix form, you're going to be asked to find the determinant, asked to write the system, and also to determine the dimensions. So if we're going to go ahead here and find the determinant, here's A. I'm going to rewrite this, and this is 4, 0, 0, 3, negative 2, 1, and then 0, 4, negative 3. So in order to find the determinant of a 3 by 3, the first thing we do is recopy the first two columns. So 4, 0, 0, and then 3, negative 2, 1. And it's going to be major minus minor. So here's my 3 majors. I'm going to multiply those together and combine. So 4, 4 times negative 2 times negative 3. Well, that's going to give me 24. Plus 3 times 4 times 0 is 0, and 0 times 0 times 1 is 0. Then I have minus, and then my 3 minors right here. So that's going to be 0 times negative 2 times 0 is 0. 1 times 4 times 4 is 16. Negative 3 times 0 and 3 is 0. So we simplify. You have 24 minus 16. Well, 24 minus 16 gives you 8. So your determinant for this given matrix is an 8. It is 8. If you're going to write the system of equations, we'll think of this. This is your x column, this is your y column, this is your z. So for letter B, this would represent 4x plus 3y, 4x plus 3y plus 0z. You don't have to write the 0z if you don't want to. If there were answers there, you just write equals whatever. My second row would be 0x minus 2y plus 4z. And then my last one would be 0x plus 1y minus 3z. So 0x plus 1y minus 3z. And again, if there was another row over here, this would be your answers, because it would be, that, and then numbers, whatever. So you have your answers. And then for the last part, C, if you're going to determine the dimensions, remember it's row, so left and right, by column, up and down. So if I look left and right, there's 1, 2, 3 rows by how many columns, up and down? 3. So this is a 3 by 3. Most of you got that right on the quiz. All right, so that's all just a review from the quiz that we just took right before spring break that I graded, and you guys are getting back today. The next part that is new is this Kramer's Rule. And the only thing that's new about it is understanding what Kramer's Rule is. Kramer's Rule is another way to solve equations when you have multi-variables, 3 variables, 2 variables, it doesn't matter. But you're going to find a determinant of just the coefficients. So I'm going to find a determinant matrix of just my coefficients. Then I'm going to find a determinant. After I find a determinant, then I'm going to find the determinant for the x values. I'm going to find the determinant for the y values and for the z. However many letters you have, you find that plus 1 because you find the determinant of the coefficients. So if I'm going to find the determinant itself, I take just the coefficients. So I have 4, 2, 8, negative 2, 2, negative 5. Then I have 3, 5, negative 2. Okay, so we're going to find the determinant here. First thing we do is recopy the first 2 columns. So 4, 2, 8. Then negative 2, 2, negative 5. So we're going to take our 3 majors. So 1, 2, 3. Multiply them together and add. So 4 times 2 is 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. plus negative 2 times 5 is negative 10 times 8 is going to give me negative 80, plus 3 times 2 is 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. Then I have a minus sign, and I'm going to take my 3 little minors. So I have 8 times 2 times 3, so 8 times 6 is 48. Then I have 5 times 4 is 20, times negative 5 is going to give me plus negative 100. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is going to give me positive 8, so plus 8. So when I simplify this, negative 16 minus 80 minus 30, or negative 16 plus negative 80 plus negative 30, negative 126 minus negative 44. So you're going to add the opposite. I get negative 126 plus 44. And I get negative 82. So what we do with that, negative 82, that is your determinant value that you found, negative 82. That means I'm going to take every one of these values that I find and divide it by negative 82. And that's how I'm going to get my ordered triple. Okay, so now I'm going to find the determinant for x. So what you're going to do to find d sub x is, instead of writing my x coefficients, I'm going to replace with the answers. So whatever variable you're looking for, d sub x, d sub y, d sub z, you replace that column with the answers. So I'm going to put negative 7, negative 9, and 22 for x, because that's what I'm looking for. So then I put negative 2, 2, negative 2, 2, and negative 5, and then 3, 5, negative 2. So 3, 5, negative 2. Recopy the first two columns, so negative 7, negative 9, 22, negative 2, 2, and negative 5. And then I'm going to take my 3 majors, so here, here, and here, multiply, and then combine. So negative 7 times 2 times negative 4 is going to give me positive 28. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Times 22 is going to give me plus a negative 220. And then 3 times negative 5 and negative 9 gives me plus 135. And then I have minus, I'm going to take my minors. So here, here. Try this again, having Apple Pencil difficulties. So here, here, and here. So we go to 22 times 2 times 3 gives me 132. And then I have plus, well, negative 5 times 5 is negative 25 times 7. I should say negative 7, so it's going to give me 175. And then I have negative 2 times negative 9 times negative 2. That's going to give me a negative 36. So when you combine together, 28 plus negative 220 plus 135 is going to give me negative 57. Minus, going to give me 271. So negative 57 and negative 271. I should have put 271. Gives me negative 328. So my d sub x is going to be negative 328. So negative 328. So now we're going to do the same thing, but d sub y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute in answers for the y column for my d sub y. So my x's are 4, 2, 8. So 4, 2, 8. And I apologize, my Apple Pencil's acting up, so I have to use my finger. Negative 7, negative 9, 22. So negative 7, negative 9, 22. And then my z's are 3, 5, negative 2. So 3, 5, and negative 2. So to find the determinant, we're going to recopy the first two rows. So 4, 2, 8, negative 7, negative 9, and 22. So I'm going to find my 3 majors. So top left to bottom right. So here, here, and here. We're going to multiply and then add. So 4 times negative 9 times negative 2 is going to give me 72. Plus I have Negative 7 times 5 times 8, negative 280. And then I have 3 times 2 times 22, so 22 times 6. Going to give me 132. And then minus, now I have my 3 minors. So here, here, and here. 8 times negative 9 times 3 is going to give me negative 216. So negative 216. And then I have 22 times 20 is plus 440. And then I have 28. So plus 28. So now when we combine, excuse me, 72 minus 280 plus 132, negative 76 minus negative 216 plus 440 plus 28. It gives me 226, so 252. So negative 76 and negative 252 gives me negative 328. So we're going to come up here, and this is going to be negative 328. Then we're going to do this all over again and find d sub z. So in this case, we're going to write our x coefficients, our y coefficients, and then substitute the answers in for z. So 428, 428, negative 2, 2, negative 5, negative 2, 2, negative 5, and then my answers, negative 7, negative 9, and 22. So we recopy first and second column, 428, negative 2, 2, and negative 5. Now we're going to multiply our 3 majors, so boom, boom, boom. 4 times 2 times 22, so 22 times 8. It's going to give me 176 plus 9 times 8 is 72 times 2 gives me 144, so plus 144. And then I have, what is this, 35 times 2, so plus 70. Minus, the other way around, my minors are going to be here. Boom, boom, boom. So I have 8 times negative 7 times 2. It's going to give me negative 112. Negative 5, negative 9, and 4. So 9, 45, and 4. Negative, no, positive 180. And 22 times 4, negative 4. So minus 88. Guys, signs are so incredibly important, so just be careful. Check yourself as you go through this. So 176 plus 144 plus 70. 176 plus 144 plus 70 gives me 390 minus negative 112 plus 180 minus 88 gives me negative 20. So when you minus a negative, that becomes a positive. So 390 plus 20 is going to give me 410. So my d sub z is 410. Now, guys, when you divide these numbers, you should get, if not whole numbers, you should get a terminating decimal. If you go through this and you get some sort of repeating decimal that makes no sense, then you know you did some sort of calculations wrong. But if we divide 328 divided by 82, negative divided by negative is a positive, this gives me the whole number 4. So my x value is a 4. Again, if I take negative 328 divided by negative 82, it's going to give me a whole number of a 4. So my y value is a 4. If I take 410 and I divide that by negative 82, I get negative 5. I'm taking 410 divided by 82. Yeah, 5. So in this case, your ordered triple is 4, 4, negative 5. You could take this and plug it in here into all 3 equations, and it will satisfy all 3. you might get a fraction. 1/2 is an okay fraction. 5/3 is an okay fraction. 2/5 is an okay fraction. But if you end up with something that's like -117/57, that's not okay. It'll be something that's very, very manageable. Most of the time it's a terminating decimal. Not always. This is not terminating because it's a 3 underneath, so it's going to give you a repeating. But for the most part, it's going to be a very manageable fraction. Now I have one more example to do, and this one looks a little different because there's gaps here. And all this is bringing to your attention, guys, is that if there is no value there, then it's a 0. So like I would go ahead here and say, okay, there's a 0z here, and I would go ahead here and say it's a 0y. I put a plus. You could put a minus if you wanted to. It doesn't matter because there's no sign on 0. There's no plus or -0, so it doesn't matter what you guys put. But in order to find the ordered triple here, you need to find your determinant of the coefficients. You need to find d sub x, d sub y, and d sub z. So we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing we just did in the problem above. We're just going to go a little bit quicker. So I'm going to write my coefficients. 2, 7, 2, -4, 1, and 0, and then 0, -3, 3. So in order to find your determinant of the coefficients, you're going to recopy the first two columns. So 2, 7, 2, -4, 1, and 0. You're going to take your 3 majors, which is top left, bottom right. So right here, you're going to multiply and add. So we have 2 times 1 times 3, going to be 6. -3, -4 is 12 times 2 is plus 24. And then 0 times 7 times 0 is plus 0. Then you have your minors. So boom, boom, boom. And we have, put a minus sign there. 2 times 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times -3 times 2 is 0. 3 times 7 is 21 times -4. It's going to give me -84. So we add these together. 6 and 24 is going to give me 30 minus a -84. Well, you minus a negative, this becomes a positive. So when we add 84 and 30, we get 114. So my determinant value is 114. That means everything I find, I'm going to divide by positive 114. Now, if my determinant value was a 0, you'd have to divide x, y, and z by 0. That means your answer would be no solution because you can't divide by 0. So let's go ahead and find our determinants for our x, y, and z. So instead of my x column, I'm going to write my answers. So I have d sub x. My answers are 180, so 180. And then I have my y's -4, 1, 0, -4, 1, 0. And my z's 0, -3, positive 3. Recopy the first two columns, 1, 8, 0, and then -4, 1, 0. So we take our 3 majors, top left, bottom right, boom, boom, boom. And we're going to multiply and add. So 1 times 1 times 3 is 3. -4 times -3 plus 0 is 0. 0 times 8 times 0 is 0. Minus our minors. So here, here, here. You have 0 times 1 times 0 is 0. 0 times -3 times 1 is 0. And 3 times 8 times -4 is going to give me -96. So you have 3 minus 96. Sorry, 3 minus a negative is going to give me 3 plus. So 96 plus 3 gives me 99. So your d sub x is 99 over 114. So now we're going to find d sub y. So same thing. D sub y, I'll do it down here. D sub y. I'm going to write my x's. So 272, 272. Instead of my y's, I'm going to write my coefficient or my answers. So 180, and then my z's are 0, -3, 3. 0, -3, 3. Recopy. So 272, 180. So now my 3 majors, boom, boom, boom. We're going to multiply. 2 times 8 times 3 is going to give me 48. 1 times negative 3 times 2 is going to give me minus 6, and then 0 plus 0 minus my minors. Two times 8 times 0 is 0. 0, negative 3 and 2 is 0. 3 times 7 times 1 is 21. So 48 minus 6 is going to be 42. Minus 21 is going to give me 21. So my d sub y here is 21. And then d sub z. My x's are 272. So 272. My y's are negative 410, negative 410, and my answers, not my x's, my z's are going to be 180. So, come on, 180. So recopy first two. So 272, negative 410. Take my three majors, 1, 2, 3. Multiply and add. So 2 times 1 times 0 is 0. Negative 4 times 8 is negative 32 times 2 is going to be negative 64. And then I have 1 times 0 times 0, so 0. Minus 2 times 1 times 1 is 2. 0 times 8 times 2 is 0. And 0 times 7 times so plus 0. So I end up here with negative 64 minus 2, which is going to give me negative 66. So I have negative 66 over 114. Now, you guys are not going to have calculators on your test. All right, I went through every single version, and everything works out to either a whole number or something really pretty. 1/2, 1/3, 2/3, something like that. These are not beautiful. All right, these are not pretty at all. If you're going to simplify these fractions, I'm going to say, okay, I think 3 would go into both of these. So when this does, 99 divided by 3 is 33, and 114 divided by 3 is 38. So your ordered pair here is 33 over 38. That's not great. Again, I'm going to try 3 here for the second one. So this is going to give me 7 over 38. And then here, I'm going to come to 66 and 114. I believe 6 goes into both of those. So that's going to give me negative 11 over 19. Now, some of you are sitting here going, are you kidding me? Are we going to get a problem like this? You will not get a problem where the answers come out to be these kind of gross fractions. It's either going to be pretty whole numbers or very pretty fractions like 1/2, 2/5, something like that. What I wanted to do with a problem like this is to show you this is a very easy way to find ordered triples that have really yucky fractional x, y, and z values. These would be very difficult to do with your Gaussian elimination, where we take the first and second, eliminate the x's, then take the first and third, eliminate the x's and the y's, and try and put them together. You would get really gnarly fractions that aren't fun. So this is Kramer's Rule. It's just another way to solve equations with multivariables. You will have one on your test that says use Kramer's Rule. That means you have to use Kramer's Rule. You got to find the determinant for all of them. I'll go over another problem before your test on Wednesday because your test is short. But if you have any questions, just email me and I will be happy to email you back or come see me Wednesday morning. All right, talk to you all later.